Hello there. This is going to be the first introductory video of a series that is going to be based on how to be a leader. This is a compendium of the selected, translated, and introduced by Jeffrey Beneker from Princeton publication. This book is very interesting because it was written over 2,000 years ago, and it gives you an insight from the leadership perspective in a moment where the Roman Empire was at its peak. So it's gonna be very interesting that anybody who has gone into LinkedIn or who has opened YouTube video and follows this type of content knows who Simon Sinek is, and John Maxwell, and Patrick Lencioni, and all these leadership gurus of today, besides all the other more mainstream people that provide leadership coaching and leadership guidance or leadership expertise. But without further ado, let's just dive here into the introduction of this book. I'm just going to be going by the highlights that were carefully selected and crafted by me, obviously, to give you the most amount of liquid gold. The reason why I think this is important is because you will see the difference of today's environment and the discussions around leadership and management in the corporate world and in day-to-day life, and something as complex as the ancient world and the Roman Empire, for that matter. So I like that introduction. So we'll have a discussion, and I'll just give you the specific paragraphs that I selected. An underlying assumption of Plutarch's essays is in that all who wish to become civic leaders first had to gain the confidence of their constituents, that is, of their fellow citizens. They practiced politics and so built their reputations by speaking in court, holding elected office, and performing benefactions of voluntary service. The rostrum, or speaker's platform, is especially important in Plutarch's view of political life. There, politicians had their greatest visibility as they attempted to persuade and sometimes to trick their fellow citizens into supporting their programs through legislation, decrees, and the allocation of funds. The accumulation of prestige and the avoidance of blame might lead in turn not only to election to more important offices, but also to civic honors and high-profile assignments such as an embassy to a Roman official. Envy, in turn, often inspired attempts to derail a politician's ascendant career by means of factional opposition and personal attacks. None of these was good for a city's well-being. Rings a bell? That's literally modern global politics right there. It's just everybody just doing ad hominem attacks, just attacking the person, not discussing the ideas, the policies, the actual facts and data. Oh, it's just derailing and just blaming on past mistakes or mistakes that people have done in the past. Like none of them have made mistakes, right? So I like the introduction piece that Jeffrey Beneker puts here. The better the person, the better the leader. And the better the leader, the better the state. Sounds obvious, but that's not what we get. Neither in corporations, not even on governments or states or provinces, right? So Themistocles and Aristides set aside their partisan rivalry whenever they were representing Athens abroad. How Cato the Elder dedicated his life to serving Rome, but refused any and all material honors. And how Theopompus, king of Sparta, surrendered some of his power in order to make the monarchy more stable, and how Epaminondas of Thebes took the same pride in overseeing the streets as he did in leading the army. So I find these quite profound. We lately see leadership as these things of titles and prestige and offices in the corporate world or in the government, right? But these people, like the people that actually had an impact, a positive impact in that time, realize that no, you even have, if you display pride in overseeing the streets as you lead the army, it just moves forward society, people as a whole. As a whole. So that I find that we're missing that as a society today. He puts here in regards of the introduction that Jeffrey does in regards of Plutarch, his vast knowledge of politics, philosophy, and history gave him a unique ability not only to observe and evaluate his own time, the period when the Roman Empire was at its height, but also to reflect on both the Greek and the Roman past. Lastly, I just want to touch how the essays of Plutarch start, right? To the uneducated leader. So Plutarch obviously refused the notion that the benefit of holding office is merely the opportunity to exercise power. So they're very well aware of that in that time as well as today. But here's where everything shifts. Educated leaders, conversely, are primarily concerned with the welfare of their constituents, even at the expense of their own power of safety. A leader becomes educated, in Plutarch's view, by exposure to philosophy, and in particular to moral philosophy. The greatest benefit to be derived from this sort of education is the development of the logos, or reasoning, which is essential to controlling one's emotions and impulses. Leaders who allow themselves to be governed by reason will in turn govern their cities benevolently. The uneducated leader, on the other hand, is plagued by greed, paranoia, and a false sense of grandeur. Good political leadership depends not on formulating and executing particular policies, but on the moral development of the leaders themselves. This is quite interesting approach. We don't get that on a day-to-day basis. That's not what we see. And the problem is that people actually expect the leaders to develop them, to develop the people. But you notice how even 2,000 years ago, Plutarch realized, oh wow, the best leaders are the ones that develop themselves first. If not, you cannot have good leadership. You cannot have good outcomes for the rest of the people. And we are sadly in a society where everybody expects, well, I just waiting for the boss to tell me. I'm just waiting for this so-and-so to tell me. But leadership is not about titles. For me, the most profound modern author today on leadership is John Maxwell. He is the authority today, and he has that very succinct and specific view. You have to develop yourself. You have to craft your own personal growth plan, because if not, well, you're not doing anything. People think, I like how John Maxwell puts it, growth is not automatic. People think that they're getting better every day. And John Maxwell poses that question. How? How are you getting better? Well, I am. I'm just, I'm just working and getting better every day. No, you don't. You have to do something. You don't change magically. So I like that. Growth is not automatic. The same way that Plutarch saw it 2,000 years ago. The best leaders develop themselves. They work on their own flaws, but work on the area of their strength to make them better. So that's just this for this introductory course, and we'll be flipping back and forth in the differences and similarities of the key points that are, like John Maxwell would say, time proven, time tested, and real world situations tested principles of leadership that you can apply to your day-to-day life. And again, just to finalize, leadership is not about titles. Actually, there's a book by John Maxwell called The 360 Leader, where you are taught how to develop yourself so you can lead everywhere, 360, upwards, downwards, to the sides, everywhere. Because the world needs more leaders, not less. You are a leader, and you are a leader, and you are a leader. So we need you. Like, you have to realize that you're the one who has to step up and take charge, take responsibility. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Yet then we complain. And we just sit around and complain and say, well, so and so and so and so didn't do this, this and that. And you're the leader. So join me and let's get moving. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.